Hello and welcome to Falcon.
The appetites of others. Sharing our world with wild animals will explain why it's important. And we head across the border to find the perfect taste to top off your breakfast. Falcon 5 News starts now.
Live from the campus of Bowling Green State University, this is Falcon 5 News.
Hello and welcome to Falcon 5 News. I'm Shalon Stevens. Thanks for joining us. Prepping, packaging, and delivering. Local residents come together every day to provide hot meals for senior citizens in Wood County. Workers and volunteers prepare the food in Bowling Green. They start at 6 in the morning, then the meals are delivered to different cities in the county.
Volunteers help pay cooks with production. They prepare meals for 9 sites, including Bowling Green.
I'm here at the Wood County Committee on Aging Production Kitchen, where they make between 800 and 850 meals a day.
In order to stay on track, 2 people help put the food on trays, and 2 people help seal and package the meals.
Whatever the hot meals are for that day, I put them into the hot portion of my truck, and then I come back in here, and then we seal up the meal for each route, basically.
Sugar-free desserts are served with meals.
When we come in, we have to get all our ovens on, check our cooler temperatures, make sure all that is all good.
I'm here at Bethlehem Church in Pemberville, one of the locations where the food is distributed.
What would you like, sir?
Volunteers and paid workers serve the food to the senior citizens in the afternoon. A $2 donation is taken for lunch meals and a $4 donation for dinner meals.
That's where we switch. Just wanted to let you know.
For volunteer opportunities, contact the Wood County Committee on Aging. What started as a college course has evolved into a community outreach program. BG for Unity is continuing to grow the community. McKenna Rodriguez joins us live from the Bowen Thompson Student Union to tell us how.
What BG for Unity snapshots are, it's more or less a very quick message that is related to BG for Unity's spirit or mission. So today we ask people in the community and student, staff, faculty at the union to more or less create a message that shows them debunking or challenging a stereotype, and to take their picture with it, and then we're going to be posting those on our Facebook site next week. And the reason for this is more or less...
Thanks, McKenna. It's a dance that has survived from generations, from the 1920s until now, and it's gaining popularity at Bowling Green State University. BGSU offers the perfect opportunity to swing dance the night away. Mimi Miller joined the fun.
It's highly uncommon for today's younger generation to show an interest in hobbies that were popular over half a century ago.
I actually dress vintage every day. I lean towards the 30s and 40s. So doing stuff that's like not really in my generation is like my everyday occurrence.
However, swing dancing has sparked an interest in many young people at Bowling Green State University.
But getting to do like dance and stuff that like people who are like my grandparents' age dance to is really nice, because it's like, we've gone to like a retirement home before, and they literally were like, I remember when it was like you do this instead, and it's like you get to like have that connection with people who like, you would think it's dying, but it's like it's not. We're keeping it alive for them, but also for ourselves.
Swing dance lessons at the university began in 2010 and take place every Tuesday evening in the Anderson Arena lobby.
I'm not much of a dancer, but I decided it was something I wanted to do, and like just to start at something new. And out of all like the other types of dancing, I just thought swing dancing looked so fun.
The first hour consists of teaching, while the second half allows dancers to explore the moves and have a little fun.
People are just swinging each other around, doing their own little like moves to add into it. It's like structured, but also so like just fun looking.
It's not just about exercise to these students.
Recently I went to my first like exchange is what it's called, when you go to other schools or go to other like areas of the country and you get to dance with other people who you've never danced with before. So I went to my first one and I got to dance with people who just like had such a different reason for doing it, and it was just like to get to know people. And now for me it's just like I want to know people. I want to have like that social interaction and have like a good time, just away from everything else, not have to worry about things.
The semester membership fee is $10, which allows more students to participate and meet new people.
Swing dance lessons are open to everybody in the community. The first lesson is always free. For Falcon 5 News, I'm Mimi Miller.
Something new is coming to one of Bowling Green State University's colleges.
I would love to see the university have a major. That was one of the goals when Terry was here. It was a goal that I was brought in on too. It's just a matter of time.
Those in the program are hoping to gain more students so it can eventually grow into majors. Fresh lineups, taper, fades, and butch cuts. The Toledo Barber Shop offered these services to BGS students and staff last week. Sheree Burnside joins us from the newsroom with more. Sheree?
Thanks, Shalon. The staff at Groom Barbershop came to town to give people a fresh look, and they did it for free.
Free service.
I actually found out about it via my email, and also found about it through social media. A lot of people were posting it on their page.
Many students, like Alan Hunt, gathered in the union's multi-purpose room to see what the hype was about.
I was a little skeptical coming in, but once I got in the chair, I felt very comfortable, and the services were very, very professional, so I appreciated that.
For many African American students, a good service like this is hard to find.
It's definitely a difficult process.
Some students, like Hunt, feel that local salons lack the skill set to provide them with quality service, and as a result, they are forced to find alternatives.
I don't trust the barbershops that are currently present here in BG, so a lot of times I depend on students.
Because of this, Tawan Gaston, owner of Groom Barbershop, didn't think twice about offering his services for free.
I believe in sowing seeds.
And reaping a harvest of happy students was his main concern.
I didn't want to charge, I just wanted to be available and give back in the same way people have given back to me over the years.
And providing students with free haircuts was just half of his goal.
To me, grooming, getting your haircut is more than just that, grooming in a holistically manner, just encouraging young men, encouraging young women in the shop.
Because of the great turnout, Gaston has high hopes for the future.
I want to be able to hopefully come back and do this again, like I said, and be able to give back and pour into the university and to the students.
Alan Hunt has similar hopes.
It's very hard to get a haircut that I would like, but a service like this is definitely appreciated, and I hope they bring it back sometime soon.
If he returns, Gaston plans to bring stylists who can offer a variety of services for African American women. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Sheree Burnside.
People love animals and love having pets, but not all animals make good pets. Still, one Ohio woman turned a wild animal into a wildlife ambassador. Molly Wells explains how.
Rue the coyote has been taking life in new strides. serving as an educational ambassador for her species. Nature's Nursery took her in as an educational animal 5 years ago when previous owners tried to domesticate her as a pet. An attack by wild coyotes last June left Rue seriously injured and on 3 legs.
It's a tragedy that it happened, but she is back to 100%.
Coordinator Nicole Frederick says Rue's story serves an important lesson to the public.
These animals play an important role in the whole ecosystem. We have to live alongside them, and everybody needs to respect everyone's role in this.
Handlers work with Rue on a daily basis. They work with her on commands needed to interact with her in captivity. Director Laura Zitzelberg says despite being around people for years, Rue is still a wild animal.
I respect her boundaries. I let her kind of set the tone for the day. So some days she wants to play, some days she wants affection, wants to be groomed, and I kind of just take her lead.
Zitzelberg says these interactions help give Rue as normal a life as possible.
When Rue was on display for public open houses, she helps to serve as an ambassador to respect wildlife in its natural habitat. Up next on Falcon 5 Sports, Bowling Green drew the eyes of the Mid-American Conference this week. David Berry is here to tell us why.
Thanks, Shalon. The Indoor MAC Championships for track and field took place last week. BGSU was the host school and the Falcons took advantage of the home field advantage. David Bray has the highlights.
It has been 6 years since the Falcons hosted the Indoor MAC Championships for track and field. This year, the Falcons were a part of the 17 teams of men and women descending on the campus to lay it all on the line for the conference championship. The last time the Falcons hosted the MAC Championships on campus were back in 2011, and the Falcons finished with 45 points that year, earning them 8th place in the competition.
The Indoor MAC Championships are taking place in the Perry Fieldhouse today, and the Falcons look to fly high onto the podium.
And boy, did they fly high. The Falcons soared above any expectations other people may have had. After the first day of the 2-day event, Bowling Green scored 32 points to lead Eastern Michigan by 2 points, earning them first place in the standings after the first day. The Falcons improved 4 spots compared to their first day results from last year, and the fruits of their labor are starting to pay off in head coach Lou Snelling's eyes.
It's a process, and obviously we get a new batch of kids every year, so it's just something that's ongoing, right? But we talk a lot about team values. That's kind of our cornerstone.
Thanks to the efforts of redshirt senior Aaliyah Gustafson and senior Elizabeth Iverson, who scored 18 of the Falcons' 68 points, the Falcons finished with their highest point total and 3rd place in the indoor track and field MAC championships. Gustafson won first in shot put, and Iverson placed second behind her teammate. Sophomore Stacy Wolverton finished in 3rd in the high jump to help contribute to the team's point total. In addition to her performance, the 1600-meter relay team posted the 2nd fastest time in school history at 3 minutes 47 seconds to finish 5th and secure 3rd place in the team standings.
That was huge. You know, every once in a while in a coaching career, you have this really special thing happen that you weren't necessarily expecting. And that was it today for us.
Fans are invited to a send-off Thursday morning at the SIBO Athletic Center at Deutz Perry. Senior Aaliyah Gustafson leaves for College Station, Texas to represent the Falcons at the NCAA Division I Indoor Track and Field National Championships. Gustafson competes in the shot put Friday night. Every BGSU student has a unique opportunity to become a sports star. The BG Intramural program at the Perry Fieldhouse is the way to make it happen. There are a variety of sports offered, and registration for the 2nd set of spring sports opened last week. The coordinator of competitive sports, Ethan Engel, explains what sports are offered.
Volleyball and intramural dodgeball coming out. Intramural volleyball and intramural soccer will happen right here in the Perry Fieldhouse. Students can get involved really, really easily. As long as you're a general fee paying student, you're all set, ready to go. Register your team on imleagues.com/BGSU. Make sure you're entering your ID number, and we need you to use your BGSU email. That's how we make sure you're an actual student.
For more information, contact BGSU Intramural Sports. That's a look at sports. Shalon.
Thank you. Did you enjoy the taste of maple syrup this morning? Well, some people do every morning and throughout the day. Erin Kelly met some of those syrup lovers. She joins us now in the studio. Erin?
Thanks, Shalon. This is the time of year when maple syrup is tapped and then harvested. Not far from here, one family is hard at work doing just that.
Up in Canada, above the amber waves of grain, down a long stony road, lives a family of maple syrup harvesters. And now that the weather is freezing at night and warm during the daytime, they are finally able to start doing what they do best.
I can remember helping Dad make syrup when I was about 8 years old. I'm the 4th generation making syrup on this farm.
The Jakemans have been in the business since 1876. Bruce has had many fond experiences.
When I was young, I used to go back to the sugar house at nighttime after I got my homework done and after the cows were all milked and everything. So I would go back there, and once I heard a noise in the wood pile, in a pile of brush that was close to the path, and I ran into the sugar house, and my dad wasn't there. It turned out he was the one making the noise out in the but it scared the daylights out of me.
Now, they have 2 kids to take over the family business, but it hasn't always been that easy.
But as we got older, we were gathering sap from 2,000 buckets, and we'd accidentally step in a hole in the deep snow and slop sap down our boots, so our feet would get cold and they'd stay wet. And we couldn't get anybody really to work for us. They didn't like this. They didn't like tromping around in the snow. They weren't equipped for it. They didn't have boots that were right. So anyway, they would work for us for a day and then they'd quit.
60 years later, Bruce still spends his whole month of March in the sugar shanty. He sits for 10 hours a day with not even one newspaper to read, so he doesn't scorch the syrup.
Up here in the sugar bush, or just a sweeter version of the woods, maple syrup harvesters were able to tap into their maple trees about 2 days ago. It only took them 1 day, but they used more than 30 miles of this clear tubing.
So the vacuum isn't so strong that it can suck everything right out of the tree. It's just like a little kiss, like just a little kiss on your cheek. It just sips the sap out of the tree and takes it to our gathering station. And then when we put it back in, we just put it in and give it a little tap, and it's in.
Sap appears crystal clear. It is 98% water and only 2% sugar. They check the density after all is said and done to make sure the syrup is above 66% sugar, the requirement by law. Reporting for Falcon 5 News with pretty sappy fingers, I'm Erin Kelly.
So Bruce is actually 70 years old and revealed he still has all of his teeth. He also told me a funny story about when his mother was 92 years old. She went to the doctors to get some work done, and they asked her to take out her dentures. She said, "I'm sorry, but I can't. I still have all of my teeth." So since sap is the main nutrient for trees, concentrated sap or syrup actually has a lot of key vitamins and minerals. So it's perfectly healthy topping for your pancakes that won't harm your teeth. Shalon?
Thanks, Erin. Pasco County Phil predicted 6 more weeks of winter last month. Still, it's been a mild winter. March has some and more like a lion, but that will change. Here's a look at the forecast. Starting Saturday, it will be rising to the 40s. As we go into the week, we'll see sunshine and higher temperatures in the 50s. So we are getting into that spring weather. That's all for the forecast. That's Falcon 5 News for tonight. Thanks for joining us.